Welcome to Neurological Concepts Made Easy. In this video, we are going to discuss about localizing brain tumors based on their location. So basically, brain tumors present as 5 symptom categories. The first being raised intracranial pressure, seizures, physiological deficits predominantly based on the location of the lesions, higher cognitive deficits, and also because of endocrinological symptoms. So these are the 5 symptom categories, and we will discuss now why this raised intracranial pressure is and what are the symptoms of that. So raised intracranial pressure will usually present with early morning headache, nausea, vomiting. Now there is a term called as projectile vomiting, which will be vomiting without nausea. Can also present as gait and balance disturbances, as personality changes. So all these are symptoms of a raised intracranial pressure. And one of the common presentation is headache, and why this headache occurs is because of dural irritation or irritation of the intracranial vessels, and also because of raised intracranial pressure by tumor or edema or even hydrocephalus. So we will discuss about a little about the functions of the various lobes which I have shown in this image. So the frontal lobe is responsible for personality and motor power. So these are the functions of the frontal lobe. The parietal lobe is the seat for the sensory and perceptual function. That is, it is the powerhouse of sensations. Temporal lobe is essential for memory and speech. And we have an occipital lobe which plays a very important role in vision. Then we have the brainstem here. The brainstem, as we all know, is the storehouse of all the cranial nerve nuclei. So all the cranial nerves will be arising from them. And then we have the cerebellum, which is essential for balance. So predominantly based on the location, these tumors will present in variety of pictures. So first we'll deal with the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe tumors will present with changes in personality. As we know, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is essential for personality. So changes in personality, loss of initiative. And one more important feature which is associated with this frontal lobe lesion is abulia, which means loss of ability to make decisions. So that is abulia. And if the tumor were to be located a little bit posterior around the motor cortex, that is the posterior frontal lobe lesions, then they will present with contralateral weakness. If it were to be in the dominant side, it is going to present with Broca's aphasia. Now what if it were to be a bifrontal tumor? These scenarios can happen in situations of butterfly glioma or even a lymphoma. So both these situations, that is butterfly glioma and lymphoma, can present with bifrontal tumors, and they present with memory impairment, labile mood, that is a very volatile mood, gait imbalance, and of course urinary incontinence. Gait imbalance and urinary incontinence mainly because of the paracentral lobule involvement. We get this feature. Then coming to the parietal lobe now. So the parietal lobe, like we all discussed, the parietal lobe is essential for sensory and perceptual function. So the parietal lobe is essential for sensory and perceptual function. So the symptom presentation can vary from mild sensory extinction to a severe sensory hemianesthesia. So to a severe hemianesthesia it can vary, and other features being gait instability, and this can be demonstrated by walking in narrow corridors. So narrow passages they will not be able to navigate, or even since the superior occipital radiation fibers will get affected, patients will present with homonymous inferior quadrantenopsia or pie on floor, incongruous hemianopsia, and visual inattention. So all these are features of parietal lobe lesions that is common to both dominant and non-dominant lobe. So what if it were to involve dominant lobe? It is going to present with alexia, agraphia, and Gressman syndrome in addition to the already mentioned features. So if it were to involve the non-dominant lobe, it is going to present with hemi-neglect, that is contralateral neglect, and anosognosia, which is inability to identify objects, and apraxia. So all these features, in addition to the already mentioned features, will be seen in non-dominant lobe lesions. Tumors of the temporal lobe present as homonymous superior quadrantopsia, that is pie on the sky. So pie on the sky mainly because of the Meyer's loop involvement, auditory hallucination, abnormal behavior, and if it were to involve the dominant side, then it is going to present with Wernicke's aphasia or fluent aphasia. Then if it were to involve the non-dominant lobe, then it is going to present with spatial disorientation. So that is the features of temporal lobe lesions. So if there is a tumor in the occipital lobe, it is going to present with contralateral homonymous hemianopia, complex visual aberrations, and thalamic tumors. The thalamic tumors usually present with hydrocephalus because it is very adjacent to the third ventricle, and also the thalamic pain syndromes, and even with some motor deficits. And one of the speech abnormality that is associated is the confabulation. So all these are features of thalamic tumors. Now coming to brainstem tumors, the most common brainstem tumor is the pontine glioma or the diffuse pontine glioma. It presents with 6th and 7th cranial nerve palsies, long track signs, hemiplegia or paraplegia. It can present as either as hemiplegia or paraplegia, gait ataxia. So all these are features of brainstem gliomas. Now coming to cerebellar tumors. So cerebellar tumors, it can be either midline tumor. If it is going to be a midline tumor, it is going to present with truncal ataxia or gait ataxia. If it is going to be a hemispherical tumor, then it is going to present with unilateral or upper limb appendicular ataxia. So upper limb appendicular ataxia, especially it is worse in the arm. So these are the features of the various brainstem lesions.